Hi. Yeah, so, yeah. Um, you were asking about why less is more. I'm telling you, I'm just a fool, man. I don't know. I read kids' books because I can't comprehend big stuff. But I'll tell you what I think. I think that whatever we gain becomes an extension of us. The automobile has become an extension of our legs. So now instead of walking 5 miles in 5 hours, however long it takes, we can drive 5 miles in 5 minutes. So we have like these super fast legs now, basically. And so what happens when something extends us, that part of us doesn't need to extend itself. So we don't need to walk anymore. We can do it faster with an automobile. But we don't need to live close to our office to where we work. We can live farther away. And so then we have roads instead of sidewalks. There's many fewer sidewalks than there used to be in the world. And you know, the whole world changes based on these things that we gain. Because we change. We change as human beings when we gain things. And in some ways we do gain, but in other ways we lose. There's always a cost to any technology, to anything we gain. Henry David Thoreau in Walden talked about people who didn't have to wear clothes in the cold. They could withstand cold temperatures without clothes because they just never wore clothes. They never got used to wearing clothes. But then they got used to wearing clothes, and then they couldn't handle the cold temperatures anymore. The clothes extended their skin, gave them a tougher skin in a sense, but it wasn't their real skin, and their real skin then became weaker because it didn't need to be as tough. And then look at the internet. The internet is another prime example. We have gained a lot with the internet. We've gained an extension of our mind and of our community. Our community has, instead of being these small town communities, we have this worldwide community. And we've, in a lot of ways, lost our ability to think because our mind has been extended by the internet. And our communities have just fallen apart because our community has become something entirely different because of the internet. So before we buy anything or gain anything, you know, even just something simple, I start drinking coffee and I get a lot of energy, but now my body has a little bit harder time getting that dopaminergic energy boost on its own. I read a quote in a graphic novel once that I really loved, and it was along with a cool picture. It was like a school bus out in space or something, and it said, "We are responsible for whatever we tame. We're responsible for it forever." That was unhappily, what was that, man? It was a graphic novel. Happily, can't remember what it was called. I'll put a picture of it on the screen. It was cool. It was very like low key graphic novel, very like kind of slow and just slow, quiet, understated. But that was one quote that really stood out to me. You know, whatever we tame, we're responsible for that forever. And so when we tame fire, you know, now we have this duty, this responsibility to be careful with fire. And so there's a couple lessons in that. You know, the first is that less is more a lot of the time. We can, the less we have, the more we are. The less we have, the more we are. The less I rely on, the less crutches I rely on, the more I can just rely on myself. I can stand on my own 2 feet. And the other lesson is that we should be very careful in weighing the costs before we adopt something new into our lives, and make sure that there's a good reason for adopting it into our lives. Like, what are the costs? What are we gaining? What are we losing? What's the price? That's my answer to your question. Why is less more? Can I go back to reading my book now? Okay. Bye.